So before the video starts, guys, I just want to quickly say a couple of things, and the mod creator and one of my subscribers actually got in touch with me, and I've actually tweaked a couple of settings with the mod. And the first one is in qualifying the AI. If you notice, sometimes they do get disqualified. Now, what I've done is, one of my subscribers told me, and I've changed a setting where basically the AI do one more lap. I've extended the amount of laps on the track itself, so that AI can do that one extra lap that they keep on doing, and they won't get disqualified. So essentially, there shouldn't be any more dodgy qualifying results. And then also the second thing I've changed is the way that AI work. Now, obviously, a lot of people commented saying I do scripting, but that is not the case. It's just simply the way the AI rubber band between each other. The AI is made for them to make me seem competitive. So if I'm behind, they're going to slow down, and then if I'm in front, they're going to speed up. That's how it works. I keep my pace consistent throughout, but it's the AI who are constantly changing. But nevertheless, I want to get these things out of the way, and I can tell you that I fixed these issues. So hopefully this will all, because I've pre-recorded this series, these changes will take effect from about round 7 or round 8 onwards. So until that point, you are going to notice a couple of dodgy things, but hopefully from then on out, things should be solved. So without further ado, let's jump into the video.
Bahrain is the setting for the third race on the 2005 calendar, and this year it's proven to be a real test. This is due to the severe decrease in temperature to last year's race, with around about a 10-degree drop, proving a real challenge for the strategists. As a result, the hards and super hards were chosen by the tyre manufacturers, making tyre warm-up a critical talking point over the coming weekend. McLaren were quite fortunate and found that their car didn't suffer that badly at Schumacher and still looked competitive as ever, albeit with their odd reliability issues. The current driver in form of Kimi Raikkonen found himself quickest in 2 of the 4 practice sessions over the weekend. Renault were a team that was struggling in the desert to find some decent pace. The R25, combined with the hard Michelin tyres, really did not like the track and were constantly asking questions of whether or not they could salvage a point in a possibly poor Grand Prix weekend. BAR with a surprise package, showing that their car really did have some decent pace, topping the other 2 practice sessions. Overall, their feeling was reasonably confident about the possibility of a race win on Sunday if they played their cars correctly. This is due to the harder tyres really seeming to work very nicely with their car. Ferrari had some incredible race runs at Bahrain in practice, however the same persisting issues with the Bridgestones were really hurting their one-lap pace. They are really not looking forward to qualifying this weekend, but to their happiness, Bridgestone have said that they hope to fix this issue by as early as the next race in San Marino. Now let's jump into qualifying to see how the grid will line up for the Bahrain Grand Prix.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Tom and welcome back to a brand new video, and this is episode number 3 of Schumacher Returns here on R Factor, and this is episode number 3, and we're here for the Bahrain Grand Prix, and we are right in the middle of the desert for the third round of the season. As you can see right now, Michael Schumacher is in qualifying, gearing up for his one and only qualifying lap as per usual, and like Callum said in practice, you know, the Ferraris have been struggling for some one-lap pace, so it could be a feature of qualifying as Michael runs stupidly deep into turn number 1. They're really missing his apex by a mile, and already off to a shocking start onto his time lap here. So Michael Schumacher really not making the Ferrari work so far on his lap as he makes his way up to turn number 4 now. Really tricky right-hander here, 90-degree corner, got to take it nice and easy onto the apex. Michael keeps it in third, running a little bit wider on the apex as he gets up to the power. Going across the first sector split now, and Michael Schumacher is already 6/10 down on Jensen Button, who's on pole position. So a really poor first sector there from Michael Schumacher as he makes his way into turn number 8, the hairpin there, really nice slide through there, trying to get onto the power and able to prepare himself for turn number 9, which is very tricky, apex left-hander there, but Michael locks up and runs off the track again, and a really horrible turn 9 there from Michael Schumacher, and he is really struggling on this lap, and it's going to be a really scruffy one, and this could be a potential disastrous qualifying here from Michael Schumacher as he makes his way into the end of the second sector and into turn number 11. Now again, a little bit of oversteer on the exit as he goes through turn number 12 now. The swooping right-hander trying to keep it almost flat out as he comes to the second sector split, and Michael Schumacher is 1.6 down on Jensen Button. So Michael Schumacher is going to need something special now in this final sector to try and recover his lap time and try and get himself back into the top 10 at least, as Michael comes into the final 2 corners now. Turn number 14, which is a very tricky 90-degree right-hander here, just trying to get onto the apex as he goes through turn number 15, which is a flat-out corner, and then you're going to run up to the line now. Can Michael Schumacher get himself into the top 10? Yes, he can. No, he can't. He gets just outside top 10. P11 for Michael Schumacher. I thought you got it for a second there, but no, Mark was just outside of the top 10 in P11. He does set the fastest overall final sector there, Michael Schumacher, but it's not enough to try and limit the damage, and Marcus had a really poor qualifying, and this is exactly what Ferrari feared in Friday practice. And now looking at the final qualifying results, as you can see, Jensen Button did stick on pole position ahead of Nick Heidfeld and Takuma Sato in the third, so BAR 1-3. Very impressive qualifying from them. And also Williams looking very strong here with his 2nd and 4th place. And then Montoya in 5th. And then Ralf Schumacher in 6th. Rubens Barrichello all the way down in 7th place. So like I said, Ferrari really striking for pace there. And then Jarno Trulli in 8th, ran out the top 8 with Jacques Villeneuve in an impressive 9th. And then Fernando Alonso way down in 10th place with, like I said, Michael Schumacher in 11th place. And then a couple of shock results as Kimi Raikkonen and Giancarlo Fisichella got disqualified way down at the bottom there. So a really poor qualifying from them, and I think it's because they exceeded the maximum amount of laps, which I did address at the start of the video regarding that, and that should be fixed very soon. But nevertheless, let's jump into the race for the Bahrain Grand Prix and let's see what Michael Schumacher can do this race to try and salvage some points. So here we go then, it is race day at Bahrain, and now I can't wait to get underway here as we gear up to the 5 red lights for the Bahrain Grand Prix. And I can't wait, like I said, Michael Schumacher's getting ready, here we go, then revving up the engine, 5 red lights, and the Bahrain Grand Prix is underway. The 5th light taking a little while there to go, but eventually everyone gets underway, and Michael gets a pretty decent start off the line here, just trying to make his way to turn number 1 now. We're going to see where the cars filter through turn number 1 and 2 there, as we've got Red Bull trying to double up the inside. But here we go then, we're going to try and go through turn number 1 and turn number 2 nice and easy. A little bit of contact ahead of us, and Barrichello's had a really poor start. Our teammate has now got the Red Bull on the right hand side spinning out. There's been contact there. I think the 2 Red Bulls came together. Michael Schumacher so far is still in 11th place as we make our way to turn number 4. Michael's going to try and go up the inside of Rubens Barrichello, his teammate there. So far, a nice move from him, and he's got himself up into the top 10 now for the first time this race as we make our way into the little twisty section now in the start of sector number 2. And Michael's right on the back of Fernando Alonso and also Jacques Villeneuve. There's contact there between the two, and Barrichello dives it back up the inside of Schumacher, and can Schumacher respond? We've got a Villeneuve on the inside there who's been overtaken by Alonso. So Alonso's had a pretty good start to the race, and Michael's just going to take the inside line and overtake Villeneuve there and take P9 and skipping later on to the start lap number 2 now. Michael is on the back of Alonso. The sort of train of cars is being led by the 2 BARs, and there's been contact between Ralf Schumacher and Fernando Alonso there. Schumacher's going to try and capitalise, but Schumacher's gone round. He's hit the inside curb at turn number 2, and he's actually spun the car around and he's lost a few positions. So a really poor incident for Michael Schumacher. The good thing though is obviously the incident was right at the start of the race, so that is going to allow him to try and recover through the field quite early on, and that's a good thing for him. As you can see now, Michael's in the back of Christian Albers in the Minardi. This should be a really easy overtake because the Minardi is very slow in a straight line, and there you go, Michael gets past him, no problems whatsoever in a straight line there. Michael's back up into P13, and skipping later on to lap number 3, we've got a Red Bull of Christian Klein, I think Kimi Raikkonen is making his way through the field, and so far Kimi's had a really fantastic race so far. I've just noticed he's already in P11, so a good start of the race from him. And now Michael's going to try and size up Christian Klein for a move here. Can he make a move on the inside? Yes, he does. A really simple textbook overtake there from the 7-time world champion, and he's so far had a really good recovery drive from that first spin. And there's a little train of cars now, and Kimi and Ralf Schumacher almost have contact there, and Michael just swoops around the outside of Raikkonen like he's not even there. And now Michael's on the back of his brother Ralf, and can possibly Michael make a move on his brother here? We'll have to wait and see, as Ralf Schumacher is actually trying to overtake Fernando Alonso, and there's a little bit of a train of cars being led by Juan Pablo Montoya now, and Michael goes around the outside of his brother there. A bit of contact there from Ralf Schumacher. I don't know what happened, but Michael has made the move stick, and he's now on the back of Fernando Alonso, who, like I said before, has had a really good start to this race. And Michael is now right into his slipstream. Can he make a move up the inside here? He's getting alongside the Spaniard here. Can he make a move into the final corner? Yes, he does. And Michael Schumacher makes that move stick nice and easily as he now propels himself down through the final corner, down the pit straight. He's on the back of his teammate Rubens Barrichello, and he's going to pick up some nice slipstream and just pull to the inside. And this should be a textbook move also up the inside of turn number 1 here on his teammate. And there we go. Michael's going to go up the inside. Even though Barrichello's out on the brakes, Michael is going to make the move stick, and he's now on the back of Jacques Villeneuve, who actually is going to try and pass now through turn number 2 into turn number 3. Side by side action here between these two drivers, and Villeneuve really squeezing Michael Schumacher out there. No love lost between those two from 1997, but Michael eventually does get past Jacques Villeneuve there and makes the move for P7. So Michael really making some good progress here this race, and just really recovering quite nicely from that initial incident. And he's now on the back of Montoya and Jarno Trulli, and a little bit of a Trulli train, you could say here, the infamous Trulli train from way back in the day. And Michael's going to go up the inside of Montoya here, and he's actually going to try and box in the Colombian, and he's going to try and keep him behind Trulli, but stay alongside him and hopefully make a move up the inside of the pair of them here into turn number 1, which he does so. And it's a fantastic move there from Schumacher, and he really just made that move look really easy there into turn number 1, and he's right up into P5. So lap 5, Michael Schumacher really is starting to fly around here in Bahrain. Like I said, once the Bridgestones get up to temperature and you get through that initial phase where they struggle to warm up, the tyres and the car just work really well together, and it's a really fast package. And Michael once again is going to do the exact same thing as he did a lap ago and pull off a double overtake up the inside of turn number 1. Once again, this time on Mark Webber and Jenson Button, who was the pole sitter, and he's only got 2 more cars now between himself and first place, and those 2 cars are Nick Heifeld and Takuma Sato. And now Michael's in the back of Heifeld, and he actually loses the rear end again for the second time this race. Michael's spun out, and I think he's actually held up some cars there who are going very slowly on the inside, so Michael isn't going to lose too many places, but that was definitely unexpected. And after a really good first part of the race, Michael's had another incident, and Michael can't seem to stop having incidents so far this season. But I'm lucky enough, because of the problems with the AR, which I mentioned at the start of the video, it's allowing Michael Schumacher to cut through back the field and make the positions back up on the AI. But here we go then. Michael goes up the inside of Jacques Villeneuve once again there. This time no issues there, unlike last time when Villeneuve squeezed Michael Schumacher out. But now Schumacher is on the back of Montoya once again. These two obviously famous rivals from way back in the day, and Michael just makes a simple move up the inside, up way before turn 1 actually, so a simple move there from Michael Schumacher, gets himself back up into P5, and a very nice move there, and he's now on the back of Mark Webber, Jenson Button, Nick Heifeld, Takuma Sato, and so far both BARs and both Williams really putting on a show here, and they've definitely been the surprising package here at Bahrain because of what was mentioned in practice that the temperatures were so low. And there was definitely some cars who have reaped the benefits of it, and Williams and BAR definitely one of those 2 teams, and also McLaren are pretty sharp, and Renault just overall really struggling here and not really showing the paces. Now Marco is in the back of Mark Webber. Can he make a move up the side of the final corner? Yes he can. It's a simple move there from Michael Schumacher, and he gets himself back up into P3 with around about 9 or 8 laps to go before the end of the race. And as you can see, Michael actually sets the fastest lap of the race there, going across the line, so Michael really is on the pace. But now Webber is actually coming back, and Michael Schumacher up the inside of turn number 1. Can Webber make the move stick? He's going out the inside line through the corner. Michael is still side by side with him as he go through turn number 2. Webber's going to take the inside and actually regain the position there from Michael Schumacher. So a fantastic move there. That's a fantastic racing between the 2. But Michael swoops back across up the inside of Mark Webber through turn number 4. And it's a lovely move from Michael Schumacher, running a little bit wide, but he does get the move done eventually. And that's a fantastic little switchback from Michael Schumacher on the straight there to get himself back up into P3, and now Michael can go hunt down the top 2 who are his next targets. But skipping later on to the end of onto the start of number 12, Michael goes up the inside Nick Heifeld, but actually loses the rear end once again into turn number 4, and another incident for Michael Schumacher this race. Not something that he'd be very proud of at all, because I don't know what it is with the Ferrari, just seems to get just spinning out and having incidents and just not feeling consistent around here. And you could see that Michael wasn't happy with it, but he still managed to keep on fighting, and the speed of the Ferrari was really good, but it kept on making inconsistent mistakes, so that's something that Ferrari might have to look into. But Michael now gets past Fernando Alonso, they're giving him a massive whack into the final corner, but now is actually Schumacher is actually alongside Takuma Sato also, who was in the race a few laps ago. So with about 3 laps to go, Michael Schumacher is really trying to push now as he's been trying to make a challenge into the top 5 at least, and Michael gets himself up into P4 there, and he's now on the back of Juan Pablo Montoya here. Can he possibly line him up for a move anytime soon? He's on the back of him now, going through turn number 13 as we approach now the final corner, or the final 2 corners depending on how you look at it. Michael's going to try and line up Montoya for a move as he goes up the inside of turn number 14, and can Schumacher make the move stick? Yes he can, and it's a lovely textbook move there from Michael Schumacher once again, and some really good overtaking here from Michael Schumacher this race. It's just a shame that the incidents have been letting him down, and he hasn't been able to really fulfill the potential of the Cubs. Right now he should probably be in the race lead by a country mile, but the incidents have really hampered Michael as now Montoya hits the back of Schumacher and it forces him off the track and for yet another spin. Michael Schumacher's 3rd spin of the race, I believe, so Michael really has been into the wars this race. Like I was saying, if the incidents had not happened, Michael Schumacher right now would be in a fantastic position, but things keep happening and it's just not really benefiting him at all, and it's surely him and just Ferrari can't be happy with that, and Montoya might get a penalty for that, who knows. But now going into the final couple of laps, there's about 1.5 laps left, and Michael's trying to go for one last push, one last desperate chance at a fight back, and he's overtaken Jenson Button, and he's now trying to line up Takuma Sato for a move here on the back straight, trying to pick up a little bit more slipstream, and then pull to the inside, and can he make a move up the inside of turn number 11? Yes he does, a simple move there from the 7-time world champion, and the question is, can Michael make any more overtakes before the end of the race? And it looks like it's not going to happen. Right now he is in 5th place, and Alonso actually got himself up in the 3rd place there right at the end. So a fantastic drive from him to start from where he did, way down in P10. But here comes Marco across the line for an okay P5. I mean, you could probably say that's a decent result considering the incidents, but a really disappointing race in many ways, because Michael could have easily won that had the incidents not happened, and it could have been 2 on the bounce for Michael Schumacher, because the Ferrari definitely seems to be really strong in race pace, but the qualifying is really letting down the X2005, and that seems to be the problem with the car. But looking at the final race results, Montoya took out the race win with 500 seconds, so those two really strong so far this season, with Fernando Alonso, like I said, in an impressive 3rd place, and then Mark Webber in 4th, so overall a really good result for Williams there, with their Mark Schumacher in 5th, both BARs in 6th and 7th, and then Kimi Raikkonen ran out the point scoring position. So from that disqualification and qualifying, Kimi managed to grab a point, and then Rubens Barrichello all the way down in P12 as well, so a disappointing race for him, and Giancarlo Fisichella also getting P9 there, just outside of the points. But it's been an interesting race here at Bahrain. Looking at the Drivers' Championship, Montoya is still in the lead of the championship, 25 points ahead of 5 points ahead of Nick Heidfeld, and then Schumacher is still in 3rd place after that 5th place. He's about 2 points ahead of Takuma Sato there, so not bad from him. But the only changes in the top and bottom half of the table is that Raikkonen and Webber have switched places for 10th and 11th. Other than that, there's not been many changes in the Drivers' Championship. And looking at the constructors, right now Ferrari are way down in 5th place, so Barrichello really needs to pick up his game and try and help Mark Schumacher with some points. But right now it's McLaren from Williams, from BAR, from Renault, so there's 4 teams ahead of Ferrari in the constructors. But overall, guys, hopefully you have enjoyed this episode of Schumacher Returns. You guys are absolutely loving the series so far and are absolutely smashing it with the support, so if we could hit maybe 90 likes, if not 100 on this, that'd be absolutely great. But nevertheless, guys, hopefully you have enjoyed the video. Like I said, leave a like down below. If you're new in here, please be sure to subscribe to my channel. If you haven't followed me yet, follow me on Twitter at Tom97HD. And yeah, guys, that's about it for this video. So I'm at Tom97HD, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye.